Hello everyone, I'm Alana and welcome to my vlog channel. I'm gonna speak really quietly today because it's like the middle of the night, but I am at my mom's house and my mom and my aunt are asleep upstairs, so I'm gonna talk really quietly and make this video. This is a Q&A where I'm answering a bunch of questions about VHS Beyond, which is a horror movie that I am in. I took questions like 3 weeks ago and I thought it would be a fun thing to publish on Halloween. Plus it also gives people time to have seen the movie, so if you haven't seen VHS Beyond, go watch it and then come back to this video because we are going full spoilers. Okay, first question is from I'm Edved 5000. Question number one, how much of your makeup was practical versus digital, and if practical, how long were you in the chair for? Everything I did was practical, everything. There are two different parts at the end of the movie that you don't see super well, so it's crazy considering how long it took for like how little you actually see of it. The first one, I'll show some photos on screen, but it was like a full face of makeup. I had this like thing over my eye, like a little lens. I could still technically open my eye underneath it, but I couldn't see anything. I just had this like one small crack. And they gave me these like gum inserts, so I had extra fake teeth also inside my mouth. I think it took probably 2.5 hours, and that was chill. Like, it's not a painful process. You just kind of sit there. It's just sitting for a long time. And I had my monologues the day after, so I was just like learning monologues, which is like such a funny thing about acting in general, I guess. So I had those monologues word perfect, and then for the first one, you see Kate told me to screw it up. I've seen some people be unsure if the flubs are intentional. They totally were intentional. But some of the direction that Kate gave me was that we wanted to make sure that Hallie seemed less confident on camera. And then the second time that you see me, also sorry if you can hear the dog scratching in the background, she's very cute. The second time that you can see me is also practical, but I was basically in like a silicone recreation of my own head. So it was inside a wall, and I had to like get inside this like piece of wall that had like this fake head. I had to wear this cap over my hair because if I didn't, it would rip my hair out, and then push my head through, and it was just like I couldn't see anything. I was just in there mostly with my eyes shut, and there was like a little mouth hole, and then I would like put my arms through as well. So it was like I was kind of like this inside a wall, and someone else had remote controls that could open and close bits of my mouth. So while we were in between takes, I actually had them use the remote to open the mouth hole because then I could breathe way better because I'm inside this like fake silicone, it's just like a giant mask that was built into the wall. So I'm just crouched like this basically for again, something you only see for like 3 seconds. I sadly don't have any photos of this one. I'm sure somebody else does. I hope somebody else does. But yeah, it's like, that was like 3 hours of sitting inside that wall for things that you see for like a matter of seconds. It's crazy. Things that were CG, the nanobots, the alien spaceship, like when you see the outside of it is fake. We were just in the middle of the desert shooting nothing. And there is one effect that they had a stunt lady do instead of me, which is when the ship like first goes into warp speed. Oh no, sorry, not the first time. The first time was all practical. I like it, also crazy. It's I had done 0G before. Like I've taken a 0G flight, so I know what it feels like to be pushed down by G-force, which is pretty cool. So I did that practically. And then we had to like smush my face against the ground, which I just like did as hard as I could. And then I had to like start to roll. And then there's a little cut there where it changes to a prosthetic. The second time that the ship goes into hyperspeed is the stunt woman against a green screen being yanked. The second question was, did you have an accent coach to nail your American accent? It seemed pretty believable. No, I've always been able to do an American accent. I think a lot of Australians can, a lot of Australian actors do flawless American accent. There is one word that sounds more Australian that I think like only really happened because we had done that take so many times. But no, I'm much more confident actor when I'm doing an American accent than when I'm doing an Australian accent, because it feels more like a character. I don't think I can act in an Australian accent. Maybe one day I'll figure it out, but for now, I don't think I can do it. It's weird. American is way more comfortable to me. Third was, what was your inspiration for how you portrayed your role? The character work is really all done by Mike Flanagan, who wrote the script. I didn't have to build the character. I just had to pull out which of the pieces he had put there and think about, okay, why are you telling me this is important? Why is this particular thing important? You know, like how can someone be that driven that they're willing to lose their family, that they're willing to tape over their daughter's birthday tapes, that they're willing to have everybody judge them, and then they're out there by themselves, and that they're willing to fucking walk on the ship, that they're willing to go on the ship. A big part of horror is watching people do things that frustrate you. Like that's such a like staple of the genre. Why is this character willing to do this? Is that she's just desperate to prove herself and can't turn back at this point. Like after the point where she's already taped over to the daughter's birthday tape, she's like too far gone, right? It's like, okay, fuck it, I'm doing this now. I have to do this now. I have to at least prove myself right. And it was just digging into like what that is and what the human part of that is. I didn't have any input on the costuming or the hair and makeup. That was all Kate and the makeup and hair and costume departments. So I had things that obviously I brought to the character that were like, I very much wanted it to like really about someone wanting to prove themselves. This is somebody who needs to prove themselves. They are desperate to prove themselves. That is something I certainly relate to. I don't feel desperate to prove myself, but my entire career, I largely worked in the games industry. I still constantly have people say I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm pretending to like games for attention. Like, having people doubt you is something that not only do I find easy to relate to on a human level, and I think we all have little bits of that inside of us. It's just insecurity, really. That's part of being human, I think. So it's just about like thinking about those pieces and why they're important and then blowing them up. Yeah, the her being uncomfortable on camera was a direction from Kate. Obviously, I'm very comfortable speaking to camera. It wasn't always this way though, but our short stowaway is set in the 90s. So my director, Kate Siegel, told me less YouTuber, more teacher, because otherwise I would have delivered it the same way that I would deliver a YouTube video, which is very comfortable, very calm talking to camera. And I think like at first I was like, oh, well, that should work because I have to be super engaging because I'm the only one there. So I need to invite everybody on this journey with me with a lot of comfort. But Kate's direction was super different to that. So me being uncomfortable on camera was an interesting one. It was a lot of just like, I would like hold myself in a way that felt more tense than I normally would. So I was like tensing my stomach and sort of like creating it sounds really wanky, but like a heaviness in my chest to make it so that I was like uncomfortable, like so that I knew that I felt awkward or jittery. So yeah, the prep for me was really just reading the script. Like, it's a thing that I certainly feel as a writer, is that we don't give writers enough credit where characters are concerned. You'll see like an actor get so much credit for a character. It was written on the pages. Mike did that part. I just had to like pinpoint the parts that mattered for me to dig into them. And I did a little bit of research and I interviewed Kate, and then I showed up and she told me what to do. The full question was, I was blown away by how well you did in your role. Thank you. Mainly because as far as I know, this is your acting debut. Have you done any sort of acting before? How did you get the role? Did you nepo your way into it through the Coley-Flanagan connection? If so, nice job. Yes, I have done acting before. I've been an actor for 4 years now. There's a long time where I wasn't comfortable calling myself that, but at this point I am. I'm an actor. I just haven't done a ton of it. How did I get the role? So I keep giving a joke answer to this, but I think somebody, correctly told me that I'm kind of being dismissive when I keep giving this answer, but it's who I am as a person. I downplay things. So the answer that I keep giving, that I need to give more context for, is that Kate and I are friends and I'm the only non-union actor she knows. It's not that. It's a lot more than that. Kate didn't just pick me because I'm the only non-union actor that she knew. Kate's a lot smarter than that, a lot more thoughtful than that. She cared a lot more about this than that. I think it makes a lot of sense why I got this role. It is a female reporter who's interested in something very nerdy. It's obviously not very far from who I am, but Kate and I are friends, so Kate knows a lot more about me and has much more thoughtful answers on why she picked me and how she decided that it needed to be me, and I don't feel comfortable speaking about that on her behalf, but there's a lot more thought that went into it than that. As for the Coley-Flanagan connection, unnecessary. Kate and I are friends. Rahul's completely irrelevant to the equation. He didn't do shit. Talos Fury 7 said, this is a fun one. What were you feeling with the spider aspects of the film in the writing, filming, and prosthetics? As a fellow arachnophobe, those parts really creeped me out. It was all fake. So like from my perspective, I saw the way that Patrick McGee, who created the prosthetic versions of me, like wanted the monster to look at the outcome. He had this like little clay mold that was like his vision for how it would look, and it basically did look that way. Like, it was really fucking cool. The final prosthetic, the one that like didn't require makeup, required me to put the little head cap on, was operated by 3 people. It was me doing the head and an arm, I think 1 arm, and then there was another girl doing a leg and another girl doing another leg. Like it was a whole fucking monster inside the wall. Like, it was so cool. Because I was in it and blacked out, I couldn't even really see it. The spider is another thing that's CG that I forgot to mention. The spider and the octopus. Oh no, the octopus actually was real and started to stink when we had had troubles getting that take. I'm not even sure if the octopus ended up making it. There was an octopus. So the octopus had to be removed because it started to smell so fucking bad. The spider was fake. So from my perspective, no actual spider content. nothing about making something like this is scary. It's so funny. Obviously, we didn't make something that is super like jump scare scary in any way. You know, I think the goal from Kate has been really specific about that she wanted it to be more like prolonged dread, you know what I mean? Like it should sit with you afterwards about the gravity of what's happened, about the, you know, she's being tortured for minimum 28 years and rebuilt, and she tries to kill herself and she can't. Like that should be the scary thing that stays with you. None of it's like jump scary, but yeah, just nothing about it from my perspective was scary to make. The only thing that I would consider to be scary was that we shot a lot of it in IR, like in infrared. Like the character says that a lot, but we actually did shoot it in infrared. And infrared light is really cool in that it looks really pretty on camera. It looks very weird and alien and magical. Very cool. But your eyes can't see it. Your pupils don't know to change size to protect you from the light because you kind of can't perceive it even though it is there. So while we were on set and the IR lights were on, everyone but me had to wear glasses. They would say, IR's hot, everybody put glasses on. I was not able to do that because obviously I need to be in front of the camera. I can't be wearing my safety glasses. Obviously, we had a lot of people on set very conscious of this, making sure nothing would happen to my eyes. It's very like long-term effects, like only if you stare directly at it for a really long time. You know, they were really careful, but that was the scariest part of shooting initially was everyone putting IR glasses on and me not being able to, and me having to absorb this light that everyone else looks so serious because they all have these fucking glasses on. That's the only part of it that was scary. Senzino said, your acting was absolutely fantastic and the fear and uncertainty you managed to capture in your voice was amazing. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Also, I'm a sucker for anything related to space, so the story and directing were great. I can't take credit for any of the writing or directing, of course. Question, the style really makes you feel like you're in charge of the camera and holding the bunch during filming, but I'm guessing that's not the case. I never held the camera, no, not even one time. So there were parts where I did really have to direct the camera quite a bit, but I never fully held it. I mean, it's huge. I don't know what kind of camera it was. It was fucking massive. But most of that was done with Michael Fimignari, the director of photography, though we did also have, I think, 2 other cameramen that we worked with. And so a lot of it with Michael Fimignari was like, I keep calling it a dance. Like I basically had to like have an arm around him and then like, you know, move my hand in front of what we was holding in a way, or like he and I had to coordinate a lot of stuff. Of course, Kate and him did blocking before I got there, but in some cases when I was actually there, things had to shift a little bit. So it would be like, okay, you look at this and then I'm gonna say this line, and then when I say this line, make sure you turn this way. So like it was a lot of communication between me and him about when to look and when, because like sometimes if we didn't have that connection, the time that the line would be said would feel odd. So it was like, I'd be like, okay, as soon as I say this, then you quickly turn or whatever. So we did do a lot of that coordination. Of course, Kate did a lot of that too. The only time that it looks like I'm holding a camera, which is a shot at the very start, was just cheated. So I am holding a camera, I am holding a VHS camera, but he's off to the side holding a camera. And then I would, you know, step in, and then I handed the VHS camera that I was holding back over my shoulder. Somebody else grabbed it, and then I grabbed the actual camera he was shooting on, and I pretended to adjust the lens, and then I stepped back. And then when it slides off the car at the end of that first monologue, that was just Michael, the director of photography, just pulling the camera so that I need to run, basically. Samuel Collins said, first of all, congrats, Alana, it was amazing. You, Kate, Mike, and the whole team really made something incredible and has stayed with me for a while after I watched it, The Dread and Sadness. Thank you so much. Really, the kindness has been just crazy. I'm really not used to it. I don't think I said this in my last video, but I have this thing where I'm used to anytime anyone is nice to me on the internet, I feel like I should hide. When I was nominated for Content Creator of the Year at the Game Awards in 2020, I was like, oh, fuck. Because I'm just used to people, anytime I get anything, being furious. I don't deserve anything. Who did I sleep with? Well, I don't even work. Like, it's no matter what I do, people, there's always a backlash, and I would prefer not to get the praise to avoid the backlash. And so I kind of had this weird thing when all these reviews were coming out, and they're really sweet. Like, a lot of them have been really, really, really kind. And I had the same kind of thing where I was like, oh, fuck, they don't have to do that. Why are we doing this? Oh no, people are gonna be so mad, ugh. But it never happened. No one ever got mad. I guess because it's outside of video games. Very weird for me to like accept and not like weirdly kind of want to shield myself from it. I don't know, it's a lot for me to unpack, but really people have been so kind. thank you to everybody who sent kind words. It really does mean a lot. You know, I had the easiest job in the world working with Kate and Mike, so thank you. The question, sorry, from Simon Collin was, did anything not make the cut? The only thing that really didn't make the cut was how everything looked at the end, or just some shots of things that we probably would have shown more of. But reality is, when you're making something like this on an indie budget, sometimes you have to like cheat a camera to make something look better than it actually looks in person. So that was sort of it. It was all adaptability from Kate, really, with like things that we probably would have shown more if it were shot exactly the way it was scripted, but that we had to creatively cut away from or cut around because the things written in the script, which were so creative and so unfathomable, didn't necessarily look as good on camera. Leslie4410 said, hey Alana, this is absolutely my favorite. This is crazy the amount of people who said this, thank you. My favorite segment, not only in this particular VHS, but in VHS to date. And I was absolutely blown away by your acting, particularly for the scene where you realize that you've taped over your daughter's tape. How much of that was Kate's directing and how much was that was your choice? That particular scene where I realized that because it's one VHS tape and that's how VHS tapes work and then it's taping over itself, I had figured that out maybe like 3 weeks in advance, that I was going to deliver it exactly that way. That one, I was the only one that I never changed either. I decided it was going to be that, and it felt right to me when I was like rehearsing on my own before I even got to set, you know, when I was just like practicing, because I had the script really far in advance. Yeah, no, I knew that one was going to be exactly like that, and it's because I felt like it had to be. I had to take the time to think and show the frustration and show yourself tackling that you've accepted the frustration as best you can to keep moving, you know? I just think it needed to be slow. Mitch Vernon 7119, how much of the environment was real? All of it. The entire environment was real. Nothing about that was fake at all, just the nanobots. The fun fact, inside of the ship are made from paper mache. I think this is all of the questions. Like at this point, we're kind of getting to similar ones. But I do have to say, just top to bottom, so nice. Thank you so much for all of the nice comments, everybody. Just so fucking nice. There were some people who were asking this question, but I can't find it on the comment section on here. Who were basically asking if the alien had seen me, if I thought it would hurt me. No, the aliens were nice. So he's just like a guy who's been sent to Earth to collect stuff. When he went to take the little girl's guinea pig and she said no, he went, okay, sick, bye. So that's definitely part of it, is that if Haley had realized or had any way of knowing that the aliens weren't going to harm her, then she wouldn't have gone through that. They would have just let her off the ship. But she was afraid, which makes sense. But yes, that's it for me today, everybody. Sorry if the audio in this video is terrible. I'm trying to speak quietly, and I know my mom's dog over here has been chewing her paws off of this time. But happy Halloween, everyone. Thank you all for the questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going through some family stuff right now that's really sucky. It's getting easier by the day, but is very difficult, which is why I've not been uploading on my main channel or streaming or any of that. But I wanted to take the time to make this for all of you. I promised it a few weeks ago and then life blew up, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much to everybody who's watched VHS Beyond and for the kind words. And yeah, I will have more acting coming. This is something that is super exciting in the works already. 2 things that I'm really excited about that are already happening. But I will announce when I can.